Welcome everybody. Sorry I'm starting a little bit late. My name is Jose. I am a Golden in Kendo, and today we're going to be talking about Kendo. The plan for today is I want to talk about power in Kendo. More specifically, how to create a good impact without overpowering with our arms or using unnecessary muscles. So that's the theme for today. Let me know how you're doing. You can let me know that you're here in the stream just by hitting the like button, so I know that there's people out here listening to what I'm saying. And also because it helps the channel be pushed out to more people out there and the channel grow. How's everybody doing? How has your Kendo week been? I didn't quite understand the message. You said that there must be a trick to go back and watch all the shorts. If you're talking about the shorts that I posted on my channel, you can just go directly to the channel and there's a short shorts tab, and you can watch them all in there. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks I'll be posting some more shorts and some interesting things that I have planned. So this week has been a little bit, I guess, like settling down into the practice schedule after coming back from my trip. I'm already settling down. I'm trying to come up with a routine of recording so I can consistently be coming out with the videos, and just to make sure that I have like a theme. Like I want to transfer from one thing to the next. You're saying the delay is for you to have time to watch them. Okay, you were joking about the fact that I started late. Yeah, there might be some noise at some point, so let me know if it bothers you, because they're doing some construction next door. And yeah, I was trying to manage that, and also the fact that, you know, I needed to set all this up and I was a little bit late. Anyways, so let me tell you what I did today. What I have here, I set up a picture of a men's strike, right? And I kind of want to talk about first, how do we get power in Kendo? What are some of the things that we need to do to get a good impact, a good strike, without being like a caveman, I guess. So the point is to identify what aspects are we looking in order to have good Kendo. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a notepad set up here so I can type some of the things and I can remember later. Maybe we can make a thing about it, a video or a compilation. Anyway, so if you could tell me, what do you think are the important aspects of, let me see if you can see my mouse. You cannot see my mouse. Let me see if I can download, hold on. Let me see something. Let me see if I can download like a picture of an arrow or something like this so I can point things out. So this is something that I normally do if I'm trying to work on something specific. I try to break it down into the different aspects of how to replicate it. So I actually went to Google to find out, strong men, or like powerful men, I think it was, or powerful Kendo man or something like this. And this image is from Kendo Jidai article. Like they made an article specifically on this, and I downloaded the image from that. I thought it was convenient, but I want to see if I can put an arrow on top of that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Give me 1 second. I want just like a specific arrow, like Also, what I did too is I downloaded a couple of videos, one of them being a practice in a dojo, and then 2 Ippon compilation. One of the Ippons that I'm going to be using is going to be for Nishimura, and another one for Kunitomo. Nishimura because, as you guys know, he's my favorite Kenshi, and Kunitomo, Kunitomo's my favorite Kenshi, and Nishimura because, as we know, he has a very strong Kendo, very powerful man and very powerful kote. Last week we talked about kote, and the biggest thing that kind of stuck out, came up to me with that was the use of the body. And this is the first element that I kind of want to bring up on when talking about how to create power in Kendo. I just need to make sure I download this. Hold on. Or I can, hold on, let me see. Let me try to email myself something. Sorry guys, I just thought about this and I thought it would be useful. Discipline. Nishimura Sensei chokes it at pivotal points. What do you mean? I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm just asking, like, can you give us a little bit more details on that? And granted, there are many things that makes a good technique good and a good performance good. So right now we're looking specifically isolating how to create power for techniques. The reason for this, the reason why I want to do this and that I thought about making a stream dedicated to this is because especially right now I have a few beginners that they just want to hit hard because they feel that they have a blunt object they need to hit harder in order to, I don't know, make it successful. But as we know, hitting with such force is kind of like, what's the word? Is wasteful because we use a lot of energy, and if we miss, it becomes a problem because we can be much more open to a counter than if we were to control our techniques more. Now, the main things that I feel that we're looking for when practicing Kendo, when like trying to be more efficient at Kendo, we're trying to look, the main goals normally are speed and power, right? So for me specifically, I want to make a balance between speed, power, and control. And these are the three main aspects that I'm always looking for when I'm trying to pick up a new technique, when I'm trying to develop something new, and when I'm trying to, even when I try to do hard training, I try to always develop these three specific aspects. What about you guys? What do you focus on when trying to develop your Kendo? Let me see, I can download this. Okay, I'm gonna make an experiment here, guys, with the stream. I hope I don't break anything. Give me 1 second. Okay, downloads. Oh, but it's, this is white. Okay. Hold on, give me 1 second. This one is not good. Sorry guys, I had a few little difficulties today, and I promised I wanted to do this earlier, but with the construction next door and all the stuff, it's throwing me off, so I really apologize. I was thinking doing, maybe during the week, a stream about setting up the shinai. I don't know if you can see, you cannot see here, but I have a couple of shinais there that I dug out from my Kendo graveyard, or my, what's it called? Yeah, my shinai graveyard. And I was wondering if it would be useful to have a stream where I just try to pair up and make Frankenstein shinais and just go together with you guys about that. I don't know if that will be useful. Give me 1 second. Power is different from strength. You erroneously mistook strength for power and now trying to correct it after many years of just hammering people. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing in Kendo, that when we put so much power with muscle, we tend to be very painful. And this is another thing that I want to avoid. Number one, especially because right now I have beginners in the class, and I don't want to, when the beginners start practicing with each other, start hitting themselves what's going to be ridiculously hard, and then let's say that one of the beginners is just hitting ridiculously hard and the other one thinks that this is what Kendo is like. forever and end up quitting, right? I want to make sure that at least when I have several beginners, they have this feeling of, or this sense of, okay, this is not the best feeling in the world, but it's not impossible to deal with. Okay, let me see if it worked now. Okay, cool. So we have an arrow here. Guess you guys can see it. Let me see. Let me just check my monitor here. Okay. But I think this is going to be very useful when I'm making the streams now. Okay, yep, you guys can see it, everything perfect. Okay, let me catch up with my chat. Okay, perfect, good. So I have this arrow right here, and I'm gonna use this for you guys to see what I'm doing with things. So hopefully this will be a much more useful tool. Discipline. Power comes how your feet grip the floor. Kendo is leverage. Just how sprinters push off and how swimmers push off the wall. I agree with you a lot. And the first thing, and you guys would know, especially when I talk anything about Kendo, if Jan is here, he'll probably tease me about it, but I'm always looking at the feet on the Kenshi, right? A lot of the times I even try to focus more on the footwork than the Ippon itself, because a lot of people, when they're practicing, when watching Kendo, they're looking at, okay, the contact of the sword just to kind of verify that it was a valid Ippon. As we know, sometimes it happens that there's Ippon without contact, right? We've seen this actually all the way to the All Japan. So ideally, I want to figure out what is going to give us the strength. And I think discipline, you are, in a very good spot looking at the footwork. So the main thing that I'm going to say is the timing of the footwork. For me, to create power, you have to make sure that your body is not on the way up on the moment of the strike, rather than it should be on the way down, right? What I mean by this is that if you see here, he has maximum extension when he is striking, and he's most likely, I believe, already engaged the right leg to bring him up, to pull him up forward with the fumikomi. So remember, we don't want to do the fumikomi where like we're just stomping down on the ground. The fumikomi should be a tool for us to continue the momentum, right? So at this point, his left foot is pushing him forward, first of all, not up, and it's kind of creating this moment where like the body is either going forward or on the way to come down, right? The right foot, what's going to do is going to make sure that the body doesn't keep going down and sink, and instead you keep the momentum forward. So first thing that I'm gonna say, that if you want to create good power, you have to have proper forward footwork, not up. Because if you're going up and you're hitting down, it's like you're fighting against the inertia of the sword, and that is definitely taken away from the power that you can deliver at that moment. Does that make sense? I wish I could do like a 3D model thing just to like explain what I'm trying to say, but that's number one thing for me. The next thing is that definitely you want to use the power that is coming from the floor. In the video that we saw from Nishimura last week, he explains that if you are so eager to hit that you just throw your hands forward, you're not gonna get a good impact, right? Because you're literally just using the momentum of the shiai instead of transferring the energy from your feet, your body, into your arms, hands, and eventually the tip of the shiai. So the main thing, you want to have that connection, you want to bring the energy from the floor. And the next point for me is going to be the hara, the core, right? You want to make sure that this is tense, this is tight. I wouldn't say tense. This is firm, right? You want to be connected because this is what's going to bring the power into the upper body. If you're disconnected, there's no way that you can bring the energy that's coming down from the floor. Then the next one is the arms, right? You don't want to have the arms go higher than the target, right? You want to make sure that you're going forward, you have a good impact, and then after the target, not push them down, right? You don't want to push them down into the opponent because then down you're overpowering, right? Discipline, just like a missile hazard in a speeding car when it comes to a sudden stop. Energy transfers come back to front. That is correct, yes. So actually that's a very good analogy, I like it. So right now, I'm going to say that you have to create the power with your feet and you have to learn how to bring it all the way up into the point of contact. So ideally, you want to be able to have the right tension in the right places and make sure that you stop at the right places, right? Because if you even, common things that happen is that people, when they hit down, then they muscle up, they pull with the left, push with the right. It's this downward motion that is super painful, but then it also doesn't allow you to have good follow through. And if you miss, you're gonna go down all the way, kind of like kata one, right? And you're gonna go down all the ground, and then the person can counter your attack. So ideally, you want to learn how to control your sword after the hit. And to many people's surprise, I think that many people don't pick this up later on, that you get a good impact without putting too much strength or putting too much effort with the arms and the hands. It's mostly coming in from the explosivity of your footwork, your hara, and being able to push that in. Now, the other thing that I have to say that for me is essential when thinking about transferring power into my opponent is the tenouchi. So I know we talked about how tenouchi, transfers the power from the arms into the shinai, and it also creates power, right? Because as the sword is coming down, okay, maybe I should make the big screen. As the sword is coming down, it also creates a little bit of momentum, right? So if you see, I guess you can't really see it very much, but maybe I can do it with my right hand. So if you see, if you come in here, my tip, when it comes at this point more or less, the tenouchi is making the tip go faster than the arm, right? So people with no tenouchi, they do this, but tenouchi, you shoot it out, right? So this is number one thing. But there's another thing about tenouchi and a proper arm placement that I think sometimes goes, what's it called? We don't put attention to this. And let me see if I can do okay, hold on. Let me get a regular session. Give me a second. Fun fact, I'm gonna say this because I'm cleaning up some of my shiai graveyard. I found this shiai, which this is actually my first shiai ever. It's even at 38 because I couldn't find it. I was in Venezuela back then, and I don't remember if it was because I was too small or because I couldn't find a 39 that I could buy. But yeah, or maybe I just bought it by mistake because maybe I was too excited to buy things and I didn't ask questions. So that happens too. Let me see. I have the top of my chair here. Let me try to put it up. Okay. So please do not replicate this grip. I'm doing it just because the chair and the camera position or whatever. But when you want to transfer the power, a lot of people, they push down, right? A lot of people push down into the target just to make sure that they get power into it. But then again, as I said, this will cause you, if you miss, to completely be out of balance and not have control. At the moment of impact, you pull, you create that energy by shooting in with the left hand, and the right hand catches. But at the moment of impact, if you have full extension and the proper position, what happens is that this hand kind of acts as a block where it doesn't allow the energy to come back, right? So I'm gonna exaggerate the motion a little bit. So if I keep my hand here steady and my left hand is pulling, it just makes it where I'm transferring. I don't know if I can make you understand this, but like if I'm pulling here and holding my hand here, for a fraction of a second, it allows all the power to be transferred from the sword without letting the sword disperse that energy, away. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, obviously, after you want to is relax, because you don't want to stick to the target as if it's a magnet, right? A lot of times when people say, oh, you have to keep your tip forward and straight, yes, this is correct. But what you don't want to do is trying to stick into it as you go into the target. For me, what I focus on is like, I try to make my best impact possible, and then right after the impact, I relax my fingers and wrist. And because I'm not cutting into the target, because I don't have a sharp object cutting into the target, I have to let the sword bounce in order to make sure that I have the fluidity for the next strike. Hope that makes sense. Okay, let me catch up with some stuff. Discipline. Good posture gives you good kendo. And I guess we're seeing why, and this is one of my main points right now. Analyze why we need good posture. I'll give you a little bit of a I'll give you a little bit of on a little story in a second. Victor, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. I'm not Juan, I'm Jose, but thank you for passing by. I'm attending your regional shiai next Saturday. Oh, I don't like to wish luck, and I don't like people to wish me luck either. I just say, do your best, like gambate, right? Because I don't think it's about luck. It's about you need to do what you train to do. So don't change anything, just do your thing. If you get any good footage, you will share them on Discord. Yeah, share them up, and it's always a great topic of conversation. And don't worry, yeah, Jose, it's good. Okay, what's I talking about? Oh, posture. So the main reason why posture is so important is because you need to be able to transfer all that energy into your target. I hope it's clear what I'm trying to say with the whole Tenouchi part, but the posture is essential. And I remember when I was sandan working on my yondan, I wanted to just work on this so much, and I focused on this, just on this so much. Then later on, as we found that testing guide that we have in the Discord server, and we're talking about posture and stability, it all became clear that these two are essential in order to have good kendo. That would be hilarious if I have my backup channel name, but what will be like, it couldn't be just one, because I'm sure that there's like 20,000 Juans. But yeah, I think this is the most common, like confused, like name switch for me. Maybe I should call Juan the bear. I should call him Juan. I don't know. Anyways, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so main thing I want to do today is I want to go over the videos and pay attention to these points. So not every hit is going to be powerful. Some hits are going to be weak, or some are going to be wrong, especially because I'm pulling a lot of times from shiai. And even some of these things can be an ippon, right? Strength is not necessary for ippon, and that's another big point that we can talk about today. Juan does kendo, that's hilarious. That will be the Spanish channel, I guess. Kenshi with bad posture bring the target closer to you, like head is too forward or bending too forward, giving up height advantage. In some cases, discipline, in some cases they do. Sometimes people, when they're trying to have good posture, they also do this, right? And I'm gonna say this. Let me try to bring the camera down a little bit just so I can talk about this, maybe. Okay, so let me, oh my God. Okay, I'm wearing black, so it's kind of hard. Some people, when they have the good posture, they try to say, I'm gonna, what's it called, stand straight, and they arch their back, okay? This completely disengages your core, and it can also cause you a lot of back problems. What you want to do instead is you want to have a straight back by engaging your hips, and it's hard to see. Okay, so you want to engage your hip and be able to push forward from here, right? The most ideal thing is that this is allowing you to come in all together rather than this, or as you said, they want to do this, right? So the most common, I guess I should make a video about common posture mistakes or something that people do. One is this. And the problem is not necessarily that they bring the target closer, because I think it's like neglectable, the amount of space that you get closer, but it's the fact that you cannot do anything in this posture. You cannot really react properly if you need to react, or engage properly if you need to engage. Hope that makes sense. Guys, if you're getting some value out of this, please hit the like button. If you haven't, please subscribe. It really helps the channel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now play some video. Okay, there you go. So the cool thing is now you should be able to see my mouse here. Let me see. Okay, now you should be able to see my mouse, but if I need it, I can also put my arrow around. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna try to hide the arrow here. And yeah. Okay, so again, this is one of the videos I pulled up for one of the streams the other day that I didn't get to show you guys, I guess. And is that too loud? Yeah, it's definitely too loud. Hold on. Andres, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll talk to you about some of the perks that you can get at some point. Discipline. Musashi in the Book of Fire Rings go into detail on how to have a strong kamae. So yes, and maybe this is something that we could do. I've been wanting to do some type of mesh between what, you know, samurai training, Musashi and stuff like that, and even anime and stuff like this. First, because I feel that this is kind of the most popular way for people to come into Kendo, right? And second, just because there's so many things that, even I remember when I used to read the manga for Rurouni Kenshin, there were so many details that actually were applicable into Kendo. And when I went to research the writer, he actually did Kendo before. So there are some things that you can pick up. Also, I don't know if anybody's seen the anime Bamboo Blade, but one of the kids in the anime explains kamae, and I think that's a very good kamae explanation. Very, very good kamae explanation. Andres, you're welcome, and I'll keep this content coming. This is what we're doing, okay? Now, let's play some Kendo. Tell me, guys, if this is still too loud. Look at the tension. Okay. This is so interesting, right? Look what's happening. Look what's happening here. There is tension here, but look at the posture, right? To me, this looks like a picture, like they're just posing and they're not really putting that much of a strength, right? Discipline, stand straight and pull your shoulders back until your shoulder blades barely touch. So, and if you see right here, this is what you see right here, right? You see a very straight back, shoulders back. I think you can almost see that shoulder blade right here, right? How the himo are landing into it. So this is pretty cool. It's pretty good, and I like that dough as well. Anyways, the best advice I got about this, and I like to do, you know, especially with physical training, even when you're not in kamae, or even when you're trying to get kamae, you can practice this. Pull back your shoulders and drop them down, and then bring your hands together for your sword. It's a good kind of exercise to relax, get a good posture, and bring everything together. This is a great interaction, and of course, I know we're focusing on strength, but it's a great moment to kind of talk a little bit about this seme and this communication here, right? If you see, there is pressure. If you had to guess, I don't know if you will guess the same as me, but I would say that this is the sensei, this is the high level, and this is the student. Two reasons. One, because he looks a little bit intimidated by him. He looks like he's more in control. And two, because where the camera is, normally you don't want to put the camera on the sensei side, right? So here, he tries to put pressure forward. You see how he closed the distance? And the sensei is keeping calm, keeping the center forward. And at this point, he feels intimidated because he didn't get any reaction. Instead, he felt more engagement from his sensei. I don't know if you guys been there. I've been there, and yeah, it's a bad feeling. Okay, camera person. Okay, now here, let's see what happens. Sensei kind of comes in forward to get a reaction, and he kind of like got a little bit of a reaction, but not quite an opening, right? This guy's trying to relax. I think maybe he's too relaxed, but he's still engaged forward. The distance is very close. Let's see a little bit back. And then he starts going forward, but he's ready. You see, so immediately when he starts moving forward, he's already engaging into a technique. But of course, he changed his mind, and this is why they ended up in this mess. But I really like that engagement and this communication there. Oh man, I miss being in this dojo. It's all so tight that I don't know if you've been in this situation where you're in a dojo that you're so tight, you're hitting each other left and right, like the person to your left, to your right. But it's such a different experience because you want to avoid losing the focus with your partner, even though if you just hit somebody and you feel like you need to say sorry. It's a interesting position to be in. Come on, get out of the way. Something happened there. It's chaotic in a full dojo, Victor, but I love that chaos. So notice too that how many attacks there are being, right? Every attack or every motion they try to make it meaningful. Now, this is another thing that I want to talk about strength, because you see how he's gonna get his shiai around his opponent. It's the use of the left and the right hand properly, right? The right hand here, it's following the shiai and it's being used as a pivot point when you see when he wants to change the direction. First he's coming from here, okay? First he's bringing the shiai up here, and again, he's not doing that by pulling with the right. Instead, he is pushing with the left and using the right as a pivot. But then when he wants to change the direction, he uses the left hand to pull and the right hand to kind of guide, to guide where the shiai is going to go. Does that make sense? Like, if you see this motion right here. Oh, what did I do? Okay. Okay, right here. So you see, he is bringing the left hand and the right hand together up here. And then he's in prime position right here to pull with the left, and he does to go forward. You see? Now, he didn't attack fully because he didn't have the opening, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. But okay, that's kind of what I wanted to point out. Okay, this one, and it's something that I've been talking about to somebody that's about to go test, that if you miss your technique, it should look the same as if you landed it. And this is something that I feel that maybe we don't even focus enough, but this should be a very important point of your training. If you miss your technique, you should do it as if you scored it. And you should do it as if you also need to do another one after, right? So if you look at this, and we can see a little bit of that transfer of power, right? He pushes with the lower body, he extends the hands, he pulls the hands. Good extension, and remember, some people, some dojos, they say that you want to make your target cut down to the chin, and look how far he went in, and then it's literally like he got the attack and he's going forward. Victor, you're right, and it's tricky. It's tricky to take an opening from a sensei as well, because you don't know if they're baiting you or just letting you hit, you know? So the right answer is you're gonna be doing kakarigeko regardless, because if you don't go when there was an opening, then they'll make you just do man, or kakarigeko, and it's cool. It's fine. So I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you guys feel about this one, but this one, you see the posture is a little bit compromised because he's kind of like just shooting himself forward. I'm not saying that, you know, he's bad. Not at all. Please don't take that out of that context. But if you've seen over here, this hit looks a little bit weaker than the one before. And after, there is this bend of the left elbow, which I believe, you know, again, I'm nitpicking, so please don't think I'm saying like, oh, this guy, you know, it's not good. But sometimes you have to be careful with this after the strike when you do this, because it could mean that you're not hitting properly in the right position. Your arm should be engaged forward. And sometimes when you overextend and you're like this, your elbow, it's out of line, and the most natural thing to do for it after is to kind of like bend. So this is just a point of interest, I guess, to make sure that you understand that you want to keep your elbows aligned with your shinai. And if one of them or both of them are getting out, they're bending, they're opening like this, you are not really delivering the most powerful hit that you should be able to. Also, the bending could mean too that you're doing that pulley action that I'm talking about that is not good, where you do this type of motion. That's not good. I really like, yeah, okay. Sorry, I was mixing Spanish and English for a second there. I really like the approach in this one. If you notice, this was more of a true, straightforward, good posture attack than the one before. Somebody can, I don't know why the VLC does this to me, that... Oh, give it a second. Okay. So, watch. Brings the left foot. It's not gonna go. Okay. For some reason, the VLC does this to me every time that the video is about to end. Let me see. Okay. So, okay, the sensei is gonna do the kote, right? And he's able to get this power from the body as well, right? If you notice, okay, he's a little bit tilted, and we can talk about different style of kote and different ways to do kote at a later time, but he has to use the hips and the footwork in order to get that power. And the way I see this, and it also happens with the men, when you throw the left leg forward, when you push with the left leg and throw the left hand forward, you're connecting the power from the left hand into the left leg into the left hand. So a lot of times for me, I kind of see it like when you see a boxer hit that they do this type of motion and they're pushing with the foot. They're pushing with the foot to move the upper body and then throw the punch in there. It's kind of the same mechanics, I believe. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is how I see it. And when I try to push for my men, I try to connect those lines, the line of power from the left leg into the line of power for the hand. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can look at the picture real quick that we were watching before. Oh, okay. So if you look at this, right? If you look at like the line, can I rotate this? I don't know if I can rotate this. No, I can't. Okay. If you look at the line, how the power is going from the left hand into the man, you can make a straight line between here and the man, right? And this is the kind of like, I'm gonna call it the line of power, where you are pretty much being conscious that the left leg is providing that power into the left hand to go in for the attack. Hope that makes sense. Anyways, okay, so now let's watch some ippons. Let's see if we can catch some strong attacks. And the cool thing about the first video is that with Kunitomo, the first ippon, I think it's a hikiwasa, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Okay, and watch it one more time. Okay, they're gonna do a slow motion too, and we can freeze. So check out how he's able to, from the moment of impact, he's kind of, I'm not gonna say sinking in, right? But he's not going up to hit down. He is hitting down and then bouncing backwards. He's literally bouncing with his sword, right? He's bouncing backwards with his sword. Discipline makes sense. The boxer Jack Dempsey and Joe Louis talk about the power line when boxing. Really, I need to write that down, because maybe I can piggyback on some of that knowledge, you know. Back when I was in college, I remember that one of the biggest things that I used to do a little bit of trying to find out more opportunities for me to train, and I would take, you know, different martial arts and, you know, boxing and so on, and training different styles at the gym and blah blah blah. And I figured that boxing has a lot of relationship. The way that boxers think and train has a lot of relationship to Kendo. But let me see. You said Jack Dempsey and Joe Louis. And that's one of the things, guys. I think that for us, we have to develop our own Kendo, and whatever we can do to make it more familiar to us, I think it's helpful. So if for you, for example, if you have this knowledge of boxing and it's something that you can connect into your Kendo, why not? I don't know. It's my opinion. But if you see, he's creating power how? Because he doesn't do a very big upswing, right? He's completely going from here straight in, right? But he's using his body. And I'm sinking on purpose here. I just wanted you guys to understand that. He's sinking because of the momentum where he's pushing back. So, and then the Fumikomi is bouncing back, and he's allowing to ground himself to engage that core and be able to pull the shinai back. Principles from different martial arts could be an interesting topic for future talks. I like that. Let me see. Let me write it down. Oh, look at that kote. Look at that kote. And listen. First of all, listen to that kote first. Wait. It's so powerful, so sharp. So I guess we didn't talk about this either, but also the way that you send your arms also has a big impact in creating power and transferring the power into your opponent. That's another thing we need to talk about. It's away. The power needs to go away. The momentum has to be away, not down. Away, and you are able to use your posture, your feet, everything into the technique. Let's watch. So you see how he is landing the fumikomi. And at that moment of landing the fumikomi, it's the moment where you just finish tensing up and relaxing. Immediately. Discipline, freedom, discipline. When a boxer throws a hook, they pivot the same way Kenshi pivot the do, a do strike. So, you mean they pivot? How do you mean they pivot? You mean like after the hit, they come back the same way that? Maybe I'm. That's an interesting topic, though. It's an interesting point to watch. Maybe I should do like let's watch Kendo and boxing one day. I'm a fan of boxing, if you can tell. I just don't follow it as I follow Kendo. So Kunitomo's on red, by the way. Hold it again. The posture of Kunitomo, I really enjoy. This one a few times. Like, I think he's so serious, especially the technique. Okay, he does the strike and then he gets out, but such a strong posture right after the hit as well. And that's another point, right? He's ready for the next technique. Discipline. The foot pivots to generate torque. Okay, cool. I understand. Yeah, I understand. Because the same thing, especially for Do to follow through and to be able to have a good swing after, you definitely need to engage the hips in order to create that power. Again, another good example of Hikiwasa. Look, you see, he's not pulling his arms back. He's just extending forward. But he's connecting the body with the shiai. Bottom line, that's how you create power. Ooh. Crazy kote. Now, one thing that I'm gonna point out to everybody, especially because I posted a short about the harai kote this week, that when you're doing any type of deflection, blocking, waza to, harai waza is shikake waza, right? So when you're doing any waza forward towards your opponent, you want to kind of keep the tip of your shiai on an angle forward to the opponent. So you see from here, it's a quick transition. This is a quick transition to this. This, on the other hand, you cannot really get a cut forward until you come back to the center, and the most efficient way at this point will be to come around this way. Too long. So discipline, what do you mean? You're not a fan of blocking? Here, okay, so, and that's the thing, blocking and deflecting is two different things. So at this point, he's in a position where he's covered but engaging to the opponent. You see, many people when they get into this defensive position, they go into a full blocking mode, and full blocking mode looks like this, right? They're taking the sword out of the center. But here, because he went back a little bit, he is ready to connect forward into the opponent. Look. Pop. And connect forward. Not only that, he's able to go around. In this technique, not only he's able to cover, but also to go around and actually get a technique on the other side of the shiai. Bam. Crazy. Yes, that's another thing, discipline. If you see a block, that's a great timing for you to, but you see here, okay, if you see a block, you try to time it for the next opportunity for kote, right? I agree with you, and that's what we should do. This was a kaishido, sorry, I need to go back further. But here, okay, he could be open for the kote as well, but the difference between this block right here is that he's more ready to go forward. If he was open, then it would be harder for him to be able to even block the kote, because he would have to completely get out of the center again, I guess, in order to block it, right? And he wouldn't have any response. But here, I believe that by the time that red will be able to go around to hit the kote, he could easily come for the man, right? And because his opponent instead, he blocks, he keeps the shiai in this awkward position that is away from the center, he opens himself for the kote. I guess Kunitomo in this case was a good example of blocking, I guess, and then red was the bad example. You guys know that Kaishido is another one of my favorite techniques. Okay, great performance on Kaishido deals with you being able to go forward, to put the pressure forward. If you're just standing there and have to go from 0 to 60, at the moment that your opponent is already in motion, you're already in a disadvantage. So here you see he's coming forward, and then in one motion, goes for the Kaishido. You cannot be there to wait and then see what happens in order for you to do the motion. Great example of Kaishido, I think. Great example. I don't know if you guys want to watch it one more time, but I kind of do. Okay, hold on, a little bit further back. And now that you mentioned discipline about the pivot, we can use this example for the pivot, right? And look at the connection. So he moves forward, he's already created momentum, he engages the left foot to keep pushing forward and comes in. You can see a little bit how his tate is going from one side to another, right? And his body and his shoulder, he's going in and he's pushing with the left leg to then push the leg out of the way. And of course, he had to kind of duck and move around because the distance his opponent was in. But he was able to create all that power from the feet. If you don't create it from the feet, what this will look like is that he hits, right? But then he's in that place in that moment, and he doesn't really have, you could create a good impact, a good sound with just the arms. That's fine. But the energy that you will need to get out if you don't create it as you're creating the momentum for the waza, is going to look broken and it's going to just not look right. You can get an ippon with just the arms for Kaishido there, but first of all, you have more chance of getting hit, and then second of all, it's just going to be harder for you to just be able to move forward. Discipline. For you, blocking is a waste. Is a disrespect to your kendo. Why do all the training in Ojiwasa? Why do all the training on Ojiwasa and not use it? You are correct. And blocking, it's a word that I try to not use as much as possible. I try to use deflection, and maybe I should even change my vocabulary, even in the example with Kunitomo before, because here when Kunitomo was here, I don't consider, okay, this is a block, I guess, as if I'm blocking my entry. I define blocking. Okay, let me phrase this correctly. So let me just make sure that we're on the same page. You consider blocking the position of closing an opening, or the stopping of the sword of your opponent with your sword. How would you define the blocking? Because for me, I avoid the blocking, and by blocking I mean I stop my opponent's sword. But if my opponent is attacking and I'm in a position where I'm covering my opening and I'm able to deflect and counter, this is something that I feel very beneficial. And you can even, I guess you can even describe this type of blocks or this type of covering and deflection as a specific waza, right? I don't know if that makes sense. It could also be like a setup as well, right? Because you can cover an entry. Let's say that, oh, I cover my kote and the person comes for men. Then you can transfer this kind of cover into a kaeshido. And I'm speaking very broadly here. I'm just trying to come up with examples out of the top of my head. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. What you consider blocking and blocking and deflection. What's okay and what's not in your philosophy of Kendo. But again, creating power comes from the momentum, transferring the energy, and being able to dissipate the energy after fluidly. I'm just impressed how chill these two people are watching that match. Ooh, okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that this is a very strong man right here. Okay. Now, this one came out very strong because he's using a lot of movement, a lot of momentum for the shinai, but he is not forgetting the body. Look at the moment of the strike. He's able to come in and transfer all that energy from not only the momentum, but also the body. Discipline. You say you don't block, you keep choosing, right? And you do Yutai Senmen. Okay, so you try to keep the center. Okay, choosing, you mean center, right? Yutai, please remind me the word for Yutai. I try to keep, especially for the people joining in that they're not familiar with the terminology, everything in English. But I understand, and listen, do you, and this is just to pick your brain, do you do the same? This is for your regular practice, right? So, and this is the type of mentality you want to have, especially for testing. But in general, you want to be able to, I think, in my opinion, I want to be able to adjust or adapt to different situations without, as you said, disrespecting my own kendo. And a lot of times, especially when I get into like this survival mode, yeah, the blocking do happen, especially when I get caught off guard. And this normally is for shiai. But if you're referring for regular kendo practice, yes, I think pure center, seme, and attack is the way to go. And as a matter of fact, this is how I am actually training. After I went to the camp with Ariga Sensei, the main thing that he made us work on was that pressure, that connection, that seme. And if you are too focused on, oh, I'm gonna get hit and I need to block, then all these feelings, all this learning, all this knowledge is wasted. In this time, I wouldn't even say it's disrespectful on my Kendo only. It's also that I am wasting my time and not understanding how to create proper seme. But if we're talking about shiai, I think that's a lot of that stuff gets out of the window. I want to use it though. Don't get me wrong. Don't quote me wrongly. I want to use it, but I don't pay so much attention to those details when I'm doing shiai. Nicholas, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. Your fourth Q, you have a fourth Q level question. At your second shiai, you lost against a kendoka who moves out of center. It confused you. How do you approach this if I learn more basic style of going forward? So I'm gonna say this: when you're in shiai, when you're competing, you have to adapt to the position where the person is. So I'm not sure if I'm reading you correctly, if I'm understanding correctly, but I'm guessing that in the moments of communication, your partner was going out of center, and then maybe that confused you. I'm going to say that this has to do with experience. Just practice with more people and try to get them to move around. Now, if you mean about at the moment of attack, he moves out of center, this can be surprising when you first encounter this, but at the end of the day, it's slower. So if you try to just keep your center and not deviate from your path, most likely you would have the men. Because, for example, if this is your opponent and this is you, if the opponent is kind of coming forward and then when they attack, they kind of go into this angle because they want to avoid your shinai, whatever, they are going to be in your path. You know what I mean? They're gonna be in your path. So it's gonna take them longer for them to reach the man than it would take you to reach your man. Especially when they go on the side, they tend to do a little bit of this as well. So just focus in a straightforward action into your opponent. What I would say though, if you want, pass by the Discord server. I didn't share the Discord server today here, have I? Because it hasn't even popped out either. I don't know why my bot is not really doing his job. Give me 1 second. You can pass by the Discord server and send some videos and maybe we can talk about it. Not necessarily, they don't have to be videos of you. Maybe you can go online and find some videos to kind of express what the person was doing against you, and you can, we can discuss it a little bit further. Even if you send it, I can discuss it maybe next stream. Okay. So if anybody would like to join the Discord server, I just put the link there and it's free. So nothing to pay. Artsulian, sweet shinais. Actually, these are pretty cool. I used to have only one and I put it over there now because this one it was a gift from Jan. He sent them to me from Germany. And yes, I used them. I used to use only one and maybe chopsticks, but now I have the two. I have the set so I can do all my technique demonstrations, and sometimes I get like Baby Yoda or this guy to just anyways. Okay. Let me see. Next video. Okay. Next Ippon. Nicholas, did I answer your question? Does that make sense? If you want to give me a little bit more information about what your opponent did, I can help you out more as well. I can share some of that info. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to try to get as much practice as possible with different people, or even ask your sensei or your senpai to give you a different type of practice. So to try to show you different kendo. So at my dojo, for example, we are a few people, and I try to help my students by, okay, today I'm going to do crazy kendo. Today I'm going to do straight kendo. Not today, but for this jigeko, or maybe for this 30 seconds, I'm just going to go all out. And then sometimes I'm just going to stand there and just block or just deflect them and control them or whatever. Just, have them show you different styles of kendo so you kind of get used to this type of things. Discipline, I skipped one of your messages. You keep your tip at the opponent's mune that allow you to keep the opponent's kote in check and the tsukidare in check. Cool. Yeah, I mean, like, and that's what I understood when you said, you know, you like to take the center, and I think it's great practice. How do you do when you're doing shiai though? What's your mentality? Out of curiosity, no pressure. So this one again, we created the force. You see that the force was created a lot because of that, you know, a lot of momentum. It creates a lot of power, but guys, I wish I could pass up the feeling that I have when I do this, but you want to like engage your core, your hips, your legs, your fumikomi. All of this comes together at that moment to create that explosion and power in there. And it's not a power that is going to make the shinai overswing or the shinai even hurt, because if you hit correctly, if you hit with the surface of the shinai into the opponent, you're good. If you're hitting down is when it becomes very powerful. I mean, very painful. See, he goes around the shinai. It's not that he goes around the shinai. He brings the shinai around because he cut his opponent's shinai and he had a lot of momentum coming in. That's what made it so much stronger than the rest, right? That we have seen so far. Another good execution of Hikiwasa. So now that we're in Hikiwasa, I think that this type of Hikiwasa right here, this right now within the current COVID rules may award him a Hansaku, but most likely he will get the Ippon instead. This I think is borderline, you know, because you can argue the guy was going back, but it looks so fluid, right? That I wouldn't say that he will get a Hansaku for it. Do you listen to that, Kote? Momentum, right? If you notice, all of this Ippon, when they look strong, they're in motion prior to the attack, prior to the technique. It's not like they just come out of nowhere and just explode into position. Yes, you can create a good impact, but when you feel them, they're like so strong, they come with motion before. Won by Kote twice. Crazy. Discipline, you're saying your mentality is, since you practice technique, that makes you a technician, so there's little emotion as possible, especially in shiai. Oh yeah, and I'm not talking about emotion, but Japanese Kendo. Okay, I think I'm back now, but if somebody can confirm, yes, okay, I'm back. Good. I don't know what happened. My connection got dropped for a second there. Sorry, guys. So yeah. Next video. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Last video that I have for today, guys, as I mentioned before, is from Nishimura. And again, one of the biggest things that I'm going to say, Nishimura has a very strong kendo, but also he has a very unique body for kendo. I don't know if you've seen that picture that's going around with Nishimura's calf next to somebody that has a, you know, like an above average calf as well, and his calf looks like a bull's calf. So yeah, you want to keep this in mind, because I think he has his own kendo for his own body as well. But I think it's a good representation of how he transfers the power. He creates the power from the feet and brings it into the tip of the shinai fluidly and efficiently. And yes, that kote from Kunitomo, you know, it's very powerful. You know, I trained with him when I was in Fukuoka, and the story is funny because another sensei told his sensei that I'm a fan of him, And he's like, oh, you should come. You know, I train him and blah, blah. It's like, oh, cool. I'm not gonna miss it. And I got there and like the practice, like everybody was with Bogo. I was like, so kind of like still like, oh, where am I type of thing. And I didn't see him. I didn't know it was him. So I was in line to practice with the sensei that brought me in, and he's like, stopped me, he grabbed another guy. He's like, okay, you guys go fight over here. I was like, okay. I thought it was like, okay, he wants me to fight more. But yeah, but then after I realized, oh shoot, it's Kunitomo. And I was like, why can I not do anything to this guy? Like I couldn't do anything. Everything, he was just like, he was just having fun with me. I'm like, what? Anyways, it was fun. Okay, you can see this clearly looks as a strong man, right? And again, I feel that what gives his power, Nishimura's power, is the momentum he created with his body, right? Look at the fluid motion. He's coming in with all that speed. He does get a very big upswing, right? But on the other hand, he's putting all that speed, all that momentum that he created into one point, the tip. As a matter of fact, let me see. Hold on. If you look at this, here, it almost looks like he is grabbing into the shiai to pull himself forward because he's falling, right? So midair completely, putting all that momentum, all that speed into the shiai at the tip, all the way at the end, right? So if you think about like as a whip, if you whip a whip, is that how you say it? Like all the energy is gonna go all the way to the tip, right? This is the same concept. That's another thing that I guess didn't mention before. You want to get full extension, but you also want to get the target. You want to aim to be at the tip of the target because all the energy is gonna go out. And this is where not only you're gonna get the best maximum reach, but you're also throwing all that energy right at that point. That's why when you get a hit at this point, most of the times, if you do it correctly, you're gonna get a very nice pop as well. So this one didn't look as strong, right, as the one before. Why? I mean, it still looks strong, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. But this one didn't look as strong as the one before. I think at this point, now he was a little bit shallow, right? So he didn't have enough surface to hit. And on top of that, oh, what did I do here? Okay. On top of that, it's kind of when he's hitting, he is going above his target. I feel if he would have had his hand a little bit lower, he would have had a better hit. Right? Maybe. Still, very, very good. Very good, man. Right? He literally hit with the tip. He didn't have as much contact as the other one before. Great point. Again, look, momentum. Oh, and you see this one, it looked like it didn't make contact, right? Guys, by the way, I'm gonna take the opportunity to say I'm planning, look how the shiai bends. Is that because of the camera or? Yeah, that's because of the camera, sorry. But you see like the shiai kind of hit to the side, but had such a strong presence. Such a strong presence that it made it look like there was a hit there. Yeah, crazy. So look at this hit. Now let's focus a little bit on the hands. You see, he's extending the right arm and the left hand is pulling, right? He is managing to pull forward, to throw the tip forward, and again, adding to the momentum of the body. Okay, hold on. I wanna... This one goes around pretty nasty, right? It hits the kote, but again, I said that to get a good hit, you wanna have momentum, right? So look what happens. As he's pulling the sword around for the left, look how the left leg is pushing forward, right? He's not hitting right here. He is hitting as he's creating forward momentum. Now, this is something that is very natural. This is something that is very natural for Kenshi at his level. For us, that we don't have this torturous training that creates this type of movements without thinking, we have to be focused about it. So a lot of the times we hit in the position. You will see, I mean, I even see it on my videos, but I see it a lot happening with beginners and Kenshi's different levels, that they're hitting the techniques, they're hitting the points on the moment or on the place, and the legs are not moving. You want to either hit forward, or maybe if you're going back, be able to move. But actually on the way back, you can say that you hit in the position and then you get out. But especially when the way forward, you want to create momentum and always have that engagement of the left leg. You see it a lot too when people do kaeshido. And the kaeshido, you guys can't see my legs, but the kaeshido is like they open the legs to receive and then they move. No. You want to do kaeshido, okay, if you need to adjust the distance, maybe you need to put the left leg back, it's okay. But you want to immediately, when you put the left leg back, you want to throw yourself forward. Does that make sense? Discipline. Nishimura has good technique, but not strong mentally. Okay. We're talking about strength in impact. It's been strength and hit. And let's not forget that he's also, I think, twice, right? All Japan champion. So he's, yes, I agree with you. We're talking about strong physically right now. Yeah, you know what I mean. He choked at pivotal point when he was Fukushima at the WKC against Korea. Yes, facts. Yes, I if you guys seen previous of my streams, you guys know I'm not happy with that final Korea-Japan team fight. Nicholas, you're saying that I keep mentioning momentum. What do you mean and being fluid, or you just explained it? And yes, you agree. You're often stationary, like stuck. So yes, and this is the point that I'm trying to make. What do I mean by momentum? If you hit, maybe I can. Okay, in last week's stream, I showed a video with Nishimura explaining how he hit the kote, and one of the things that he mentioned that is very important is that many people are so eager to hit that they think the technique is just shiai, it's just throwing the hands. So by mean that the technique has to have momentum is that your body has to be in motion at the moment where you decide to throw your arms. If you just throw your arms and you're not moving, it's going to be a very weak hit. And again, to create that momentum, all that energy comes from the feet. So essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to bring the force from your legs into the shiai, from the ground into the shiai. As we mentioned before, I think Discipline was the one that brought up the boxing, the Jack Dempsey and the Joey Lewis. I think it was you, right? Discipline. Boxers, a lot of times, now most of the times when they throw a punch, they don't just throw the punch, they get the energy from the floor to throw the punch, right? Kind of the same concept is what I'm trying to bring up today when it comes to executing any technique during Kendo. And being fluid is, again, being able to do your technique and be able to get out without being overwhelmed, without being stuck, without, having to put extra effort. Your body should naturally move rather than you have to push yourself out of it. Does that make sense? Discipline. Nishimura puts all his weight into his hit like you're supposed to. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring Nishimura, and I wanted to make the comparison between, Kunitomo and Nishimura, because, it's different body styles. And I think I said it right. Nishimura has Kendo for his body, and he's making it work. Kunitomo has adapted Kendo for his body as well. It's a different Kendo. I guess I wanted to bring up these elements, so maybe because I feel with Nishimura they're a little bit more obvious, and we can catch them, see them, imagine them, replicate them, and then make it our own. But by no way of means I say you have to do Kendo like either of these two guys. You have to find your own Kendo. But to do so, you have to copy somebody first. Choose a Kenshi that you feel that, you would like to copy. And I think that's helped me a lot. Okay. So you see, here what I was trying to say is that here he's engaging the hands, but as the moment he's engaging his hands, he's also engaging his left leg, right? He's not just hitting here, then moving, he is doing both. This is the point, this is the detail that I wanted to bring up. When Nishimura is hitting a strike that he was, okay, you see. When Nishimura here is initiating this motion with the arms, he's not doing it just with the arms, his whole body's at work. When he starts the motion for the technique, when he decides to go in, his left leg also is going in, bringing a little bit of momentum, making it easier for him to move, to have proper sanshin, and to have a stronger technique by transferring the energy from his feet into the tip of the shinai. That's today's main point of the stream, by the way. Oh, he's fighting Nito. I didn't see this fight before. What? I know. This is from the World Championship, but I didn't see this. I don't remember this one. You went right in between the two of them. That's hilarious. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Anyways. Which, by the way, I know we talked about having a Nito stream. I want to make that happen. I just been very busy this week. I haven't been able to do much. Okay, again for the Hikiwaza. You see, he's not just throwing the arms and then moving. He's literally landing with the momentum that his body is creating, right? He's not swinging up and down like most of us tend to do. That pull back in order to create momentum. No. He's creating force by having proper tenuchi, proper extension, and the motion that his body is going naturally. Oh, I like this one. And I hope you guys saw what happened too. You see how he puts his sword around? This is something that I figured out in one of my last streams. I mean, actually not my last, like it's months ago. That if you would think how to get out from this position, if you have to like just replicate it by watching it just once, most people would say that he is going around and then coming around, he's going around the sword and then going into the technique. But in reality, he's starting to go around and push up with the kote to move and and deflect with the sword to immediately go into the technique. So he's not going all the way around. He's kind of positioning himself here, pushing into the technique. So that being said, never put your sword in a person's shoulder because it's an easy way to get score on. Watch. Look, you see he goes around, and instead of going behind his head with the hands, he's being very efficient by going in forward and straight into the target. The first time I guess I realized this, that I was able to break it down and explain it like this, it was in a fight that I saw with Hoshiko, and he does this a lot too. I think Hoshiko has a better example for that, by the way. Just because the way he does it is a little bit more clear. You see, this is a cool way. Listen, this is a cool way to get away when somebody is. This is a cool way to get an ippon and get away when somebody is trying to force their shiai into your shoulder after subaseriai, right? And again, as you see, normally people would think that he's going around the sword, but instead what he's doing, he's positioning his hands into the right position to get an opening and positioning his shiai to go directly into the man. See, it's almost like he's doing like a kaeshi katsugi type of thing. I don't know how you describe this, but very interesting. And I think if you have somebody with the sword on your shoulder, it's an easy way to get an ippon. Have you seen this before? Have you done this before? Have you practiced this? Actually, I'm kind of curious. Oh, discipline. You said that Nishimura is a stocky man built for rugby, but does kendo. He makes it work too. So this is his one of his famous kote. No, this is his famous kote, right? This is the kote he's famous for. That ura kote right here. And how does he do it? He throws his body in there. Go back, guys, to the stream from last week, and you will see. He talks about throwing his body. He's getting full extension, but it comes from his body. You see, and the crazy thing about this is that because it's coming from underneath with such a very little upswing, he's not able to create much force from the hands, right? He has to create somewhere else, and where is that somewhere else? Right here. See, very compact, very nice. Bam. Okay. So, quick little joke. The only thing stronger than that kote in this shot right here is this man's mustache. You guys know this. I think this is one of the most famous kendo mustaches. And they come with a very strong tsuki as well, right? Nicholas, let me know how that goes. Come back and let us know how your training goes and if you feel any improvement by keeping in mind your footwork over your shiai. Yes, I think I saw this kote here, discipline. So the crazy thing about this kote is that you see he got the kote atama first, right? So his kote kind of bounced into the kote. But watch it full speed and listen to it. Oh. Oh wait, hold on, because now this video is too low. Let me put a little bit more volume into it. Is the music too loud, by the way? Put this a little bit lower. So you see, it comes with enough force. And again, I'm gonna say this: you want to add force not because you want to hit harder, but also because this force is going to give you speed. So if you have the wrong type of force, it's going to be hard, but not necessarily fast and control. Again, my goals for my kendo are to have speed, strength, and control, right? I have to have the three, not just one, because one just doesn't work. If you would have had a strong kote, but not necessarily with the control and the speed that he had on this one, because that bounce, he probably would have not gotten the ippon, right? But he had these three elements all together, and he's able to get this impact that looks clean, even though in the slow motion we saw that it wasn't clean, right? You can hear it that it's not a clean kote, but it's a strong kote, right? There's no denying that this is ippon. You see, after the bounce, he gets a good strike into the kote. Oh, okay. I think this is Sai, the same person that I fought in the World Championship. He's the one that beat me out. So does that mean I would have to fight Nishimura after? That would have been fun. Nice kote, nice kote. Oh, sorry, I don't know what's going on with the video there. So you see, there's momentum. Okay. I want you guys to see what happens here right before. So I'm gonna start using the word maybe trigger the technique, right? When it's the moment when you can clearly see that the person is saying, now I will do my technique. And I want you to see what happens with the guys with Nishimura's left leg when he triggers this technique. Look, to this point, he's still setting up, right? He's still setting up. Now here, you're gonna see a clear change. And the first thing I see, I wish I could go back one frame only, okay? The left leg, the first thing I see is happening is that the left leg immediately is kicking the floor. You're gonna see. But you see right there? Now is when he's going in forward. It started the motion before he threw the hands. And then he makes good contact with the momentum that he created from that little push, that little strong push, right before he said, I am going to do the technique. I challenge you to maybe, like if you have a dummy, try seeing how you hit the dummy from standing position. What moves first? What it's happening with your body at the moment of impact? Are you hitting just with your hands? Is your body moving? Is your body tense before, during, or after the strike? You know, break it down, and I think you'll learn a lot from that. And one of the perks of being a member of the channel, we can sit down sometime and just analyze our videos and talk about our videos together. One-on-one. Discipline. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah, interesting point. Sanshin, right? It's like throwing paint on the Mona Lisa. Man, I'm liking your analogies, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Which one was it? I forgot. I went back, but did I go back far enough? That was this one, right? So you're talking about this crouching right here, right? That's what you're talking about? Yes. Oh, what did I do? I'm clicking stuff with my other hand that I don't mean to click. Okay, so I think this is the. Let me talk a little bit about this. This is interesting. A lot of times I remember some people saying that shiai ruins your kendo. And I think what they refer to is motions like this, where you have postures like this. I understand what they're saying, right? And if you're practicing your kihon like this, you're doing it wrong. I think you should not try to do this unless you're really practicing, like maybe in a shiai scenario or things like this. Your kihon kote should not look like this. In this sense, yes, you know, he had such a beautiful kote, but he kind of went sneaky. Let's just say sneaky after the hit like this, that it doesn't look good. The main point with Sanshin, because here, okay, he did something that is not necessarily pleasing, or is not necessarily what we train for to do, maybe because of fear of the situation. But I think the important part that gave him the Ippon, that he showed the Sanshin, is the alertness towards his opponent and the readiness towards his opponent after the hit. So at this point, okay, he's not necessarily in the best position ever, but he recovers very quickly, right? He recovers very quickly, and at this point right here, he's already ready to go. He kind of does this thing I don't like, right? He does this thing kind of like, yeah, I got you type of thing. This is something that now this goes beyond the survival instinct. I think this is more of like the competitive aspects of kendo. I don't know if this is what you actually meant, discipline, this part or the part before, but this is the part that I'm saying like, this is a little bit not good, because if you're showing that like, yeah, I got you, you're not really ready, kind of like mentally, I'm nitpicking here. But the good thing that he did is like right after he did the technique, he recovered from this posture and he showed readiness towards his opponent. And I think maybe this is the main reason too why they say, okay, this is good, right? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. What are your thoughts specifically about this? What are your thoughts about this? Do you think that this type of motion after the technique do not award Ippon, or should be reason to not award Ippon? Or what he did here is enough to say, okay, it's good, and what would you do better? That would be a very interesting one. Discipline. So you hit them like you mean it and don't run away. Okay, so you mean that like that little crouching is a little bit like a runaway. Totally. I understand. I think he caught himself into that, and that's why he kind of had the need to say, I got you type of thing, right? Please, that's a horrible thing to do for me. But what you do, maybe he had the need to say, okay, I got afraid, but then I'm here, you know? I'm in position, I'm good. So maybe he had that naturally, just because, I don't know, part of his training, I don't know. Discipline, you said you understand that their job are probably on the line and professional players need results. Yes, actually, there is an article from Kenshi 24/7 on the Tokuren. It's crazy. Yes, and the pressure is there for them. It is there for them. Oh, here's the quote that you were talking about. Discipline, I believe. For some reason, I lost audio. Okay, here's the audio. Was this the first one or the second one? Because I think he does 2 kote on him, right? Again, look what happens here. How did he create the power? His body is in motion. Okay, right now he took a step. He put down his right foot, but look what happens. His momentum doesn't stop. If you see his body is still in motion, he re-anchors the left leg and immediately starts moving the right leg forward. And his body hasn't stopped at all. And he's able to come in with so much power that he even lift off from the ground. Look, he had lift off. Right? So there's so much power being created by the feet that it's essential, and you're just cutting yourself short if you're not using your legs to hit your techniques. There is so much that you can do by engaging your legs right before the technique and have momentum by the moment that you decide to throw the technique. That's gonna be the thing for Nishimura now, the croucher. I don't know if you guys play Call of Duty or something like this, right? But I don't know if you understand or you know what a drop shot is, right? When somebody is coming at you, both of you come out on a hallway, and then you start shooting at each other, but your opponent just literally goes into the floor and just kills you because they just crouch. Maybe this is the equivalent of a drop shot in Kendo. What do you think about this one? But it's so strong though, you cannot deny. I mean, like, it's listen, you know, every player has their own, like when you play Call of Duty, you have the drop shotters and the bunny hoppers, so the guys that, like, you know, jump around. I wonder if anybody can find me a bunny hopper. You know, we found the drop shotter. Is that how you call it? Drop shotter? But look how, okay, this one is so cool. This one is so crazy. This kote, it's amazing because look how it creates momentum by dropping his body and engaging his left leg from further back, right? Throwing his body. He literally dives into it and literally drives into it after. And goes in for that kote. These two are crazy kote. But mainly, guys, it's understanding how to connect the power from your body into the tip of your shiai and having that momentum, having the body move. You see, this one didn't look as strong as the one before, right? And this is a big point that I wanted to make today with today's video. Why some of them look strong, why some of them don't look as strong. So in this one, his shiai is closer to his body, right? He doesn't have really full extension, right? So he's almost like he's fighting his need to throw his power forward because his opponent came too close. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Why is this kote doesn't look as strong as you normally see Nishimura perform, or what you see before? Why this one looks a little bit less strong as we've seen? So I'm gonna say out here, if you see this, his shiai, this could also be another reason, right? His shiai is going one way forward, but his upper body is kind of going backwards slightly, right? I wonder if this also has to do with the fact that this kote didn't look as strong as the ones before. I'm not saying this is not a strong kote, it's very strong, but compared to the one we just saw before, this one doesn't look as strong. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is in this one, is that his sword is going out this way, but his body is going out this way. And this is something that happens a lot with people, with beginners, where they try to hit, but they're scared of getting hit, and they do this, but it's kind of like they're fighting their sword, right? So it's interesting to see this happening at this level, because I feel it's a good, you know, I guess it's inspiring. You know, if it happens to them, you know, if it happens to me, it's okay, but it's something that we need to be aware of. When you're hitting, to create more power, you have to be able to not, okay, to create more power, you have to avoid fighting yourself and fighting the momentum that your sword has. So in this case, what we see, and you see this a lot, as I said before, somebody throwing the sword, but maybe they're scared of getting hit, and they go back. And look what's happening, right? Look at my arm, look at where my shiai is going, but look what my arm is doing. to my shinai, right? It's kind of pulling away. But instead, if I'm here with going forward, I can connect the power. I can go forward. I can use my momentum. I can use everything to transfer into my opponent. Hope that makes sense. Or God, because he's so close, he's having to adjust his body into a difficult angle. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. So when you have this such close distance, what do? You have to adjust. And he is knowledgeable enough in his technique that he's able to adapt to the situation and still get the Ippon and still be strong. Don't get me wrong, still be strong. I'm just saying that it wasn't as strong as the ones we saw before. Now this one is crazy, and you guys know why it's crazy. It's because he just dropped that sword straight forward, no upswing. Discipline, yes, and attempt to block. Okay. So in this one, it, oh my God, he's doing it again. Okay, hold on, because you see? I hate VLC at the end of the video. Okay, let's see here. So if you see here, there's a little bit of kind of pullback because maybe he feels like he went too deep, and still very, very, very strong kote. Very strong kote, very strong kote. So Nishimura has a very, very interesting application of his kendo to create power. As I said before, we have to be mindful of what can we do to create effective power. You don't want to be overpowering people by hammering down. You want to understand the correct path of your sword and the correct way to transfer the energy from your feet into the tip of your sword. Or God, if Nishimura applies seme with his Kensen so low, why did Nishimura go for Kaeshi Waza? I mean, this is a topic that we can discuss for days, but essentially the way I see it is that throughout your fight you want to collect data, right? So I don't remember, because I know I've probably seen that fight, but I don't remember exactly what happened throughout the fight. But let's say that you are in Jigeko with somebody and you realize that this person is always doing men. Even to the point where maybe like they're in Kamae, they semi down, but they go for men. And then in your brain, you start collecting this data. So you're saying, okay, well, let me catch this timing. Let me catch his men. So he comes for men, boom, you do Kaeshido. But what happens when your opponent knows that he's doing this, and maybe even they're doing this on purpose? Well, then they're trying to condition for you to cover for the man. So it's kind of like a fast-paced chess match, right? It's between what he does, what I'm doing, what I did, this is where I guess the tension and like the experience with other players plays such a big role, because you want to understand how to make an opening, because these two players are very strong, and to make an opening for them, it's a lot of times has to do with, reading their habits for this match and finding the opportunities within those habits. Hope that makes sense. Discipline, sorry but not sorry. You just really hard on yourself when it comes to kendo. It's your passion. Kendo is your life. Women are your girlfriends, but kendo is your life. Listen, I don't see a reason why you say you have to be sorry. No, not at all. Big part of our kendo journey is to finding what we enjoy from kendo and to do it better, to polish it. So you are looking for something in your kendo, and I really hope that you find it, and I really hope that you are able to also pass it down to other people and make it efficient for them. I think we all have to find our kendo. I remember being in in dojos where I'm forced to do something specific that is not necessarily something that I feel that I'm proficient at, for example, that I feel like I'm good at this thing. But even just by the fact of knowing it, I think it opens up my repertoire. But at the end of the day, it ends up being what works for me. There's some techniques that they just don't work for me by the way that maybe how I hold my shiai, how I move and stuff like that. And there's techniques that I cannot do that I want to do because I haven't adapted my kendo to that. So listen, everybody, we're all on our journey. I guess it's I'm just saying a lot to say that we're all on our journey, and I think that we're all looking for something, and we hope to keep getting better in our kendo. Guys, I'm gonna ask you one quick question. So normally I've been doing this with the lights on, my main light on, but I feel like this looks better. I think that I have enough light here so you guys can see anything, and I don't know if you have any problems with the way the lighting is besides the mess with the shinais and stuff like that. Let me know. I would like to know just because I want to make sure that this doesn't look bad for you guys. Orgot, you see, it's like it's a mix up. Yeah, and a lot of times in Keiko, you can practice this and try to learn the person's habits. So this is how you build your repertoire on things that you can do to make sure that you have understanding on how your body, how your seme, how your approach, it's making an opening for your technique. It's very essential too if you have a favorite waza. If you think about this, you have a favorite waza. Let's say that your favorite waza, it's men. But what happens when you have a player that you cannot get the men on because they keep blocking it, or you do other things to make him take away the focus on the men? So then when your time comes, when you can get this pattern, you come in for the men. Does that make sense? Hope that does. Lightning. Thank you for letting me know the lights are fine. Guys, if you haven't, please take a second to hit the like button on the stream. Really helps this get pushed out to more people. And if you haven't, subscribed to the channel. And I also have the subscription available into my channel. There's a couple of special things that I want to be doing for people that are subscribed. The main things that I'm gonna have some streams that only members I will be able to have access to the chat, and I want to do private groups where we can discuss our videos, or even one-on-one with each other to kind of discuss your kendo and how can we both improve in our kendo. So you guys are welcome to check those out and become a member. And if not, you guys are welcome here. If you have any questions, anything I can do for you, you can leave them down here or pass by the Discord server. It's completely free. And yeah, in the meantime, I can just let me know if I can do anything for you guys and help you out. You guys have any questions before I head out today? I also was thinking this week doing a shiai repair stream. I wanted to get like a lot of my old bamboo pieces and just put stuff together. If that's something that you feel will be beneficial or be interesting, let me know. Maybe comment it or send me a message in Discord so we can organize that. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for passing by today. If you guys need anything, I make myself available. You guys keep me motivated on making myself keep growing and keep getting better, because I have to study to make sure that I don't say crazy things in this stream. So thank you very much, guys. You have a good rest of your day. Please let me know how your practice goes, and I hope we get to practice together at some point, okay? Guys, have a really good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video and the next stream. Take care, guys. Bye.